Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. Oh, story time with Mr. Lamada, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't leave lonely, won't you start all the reading? I just can't wait to be hearing.
Boom. Welcome to Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today? Good morning to you. Thank you for being here. Hope I didn't scare you too much. Thank you for joining in. I am glad you're here for another story together. And I promise you it is scary, but also amazingly fun. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you're feeling brave. I hope you're ready because we have a good one today. Spooky. Sleuth and Solve. Yes, this one by Victor ESCANDELL, and adaptations were actually made by Anna. Let me just check the name to make sure. Anna Gaio, who did all the of the characters, and I'm excited to share this one. And we're going to be reading one story from this really spooky book. I hope you're ready for this one. Thank you for joining in. As always, let me know where you're joining in from and who is joining in with you. It is a spooky day. Sleuth and Solve. So remember, like I said yesterday, if you have a pencil, a pen, and of course paper, papyrus, whatever that you use to write, bring it close because you will be needing that at the end of the story to solve a mystery. Thank you for joining in. I am excited to see what people do and if people can solve the mystery today. Yes, a beautiful story awaits us. Join Maddie and of course Grandpa Mattias as well, having a lot of fun, having a lot of scares. Enjoy this one. Spooky Sleuth and Solve. Yes, an exciting one. Decode mind-twisting mysteries inspired by classic creepy characters. And this one we're reading with permission of Chronicle Books of San Francisco. A big thank you to them. And I hope that you're excited for it and ready to enjoy this wonderful story together. Welcome to Story Time. Please let me know where you're joining in from. And I hope that you are having a wonderful day today. And of course, thinking also of Chad and Braylon, and of course Pamela Courtney out in Natchitoches, Louisiana, where they had tornado warnings, and I hope that they are okay, and for sure we'll be checking in with them later on to see how they are doing. Thank you so much for joining in Story Time. Welcome. Let us see who is with us this morning. Well, good morning to you, baby Bia. Yes, 5 a.m. is the perfect time to wake up. Good morning to you, baby Bia. How are you doing today? And thank you so much for joining in as well. Amanda out in Seattle, thank you for joining us today. To say, hoping today's story can jolt me awake. Well, I promise you, Amanda, this one will definitely get you awake. Thank you so much for joining in. Good morning to you, baby Bia. How are you doing today? Thank you for being here with us on Story Time. Oh, absolutely appreciate it. Hopefully you can get some nap time later on and recover. Good morning to you, Pamela Courtney. I was just talking about you. Thank you so much. Braylon and Chad, absolutely appreciate having you here. Kavaya, thank you, thank you, thank you. And as always, sending them right back to you as well. Thank you so much for joining in. Clear and sunny day in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank goodness for that. Absolutely appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that. And I am glad you're okay and here with us on Storytime today. Thank you so much for joining in. Pamela Courtney, and of course the amazing Braylon and Chad. And Kavaya, we think of you all the time. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. How are you doing today? Let me know where you are, and are you ready for a spooky story? And of course, some sleuthing as well. Yes, put on that hat, put on your coat. Let us go out there and investigate. Wonderful story awaits. I hope you're ready for this one. We're going to get started. Please remember to have a pencil and paper and, of course, a pen, whatever you're using to write nearby, a whiteboard, something that you can use to write and see if you can figure out, if you can decode our mystery at the end of the reading. Thank you so much for joining in and welcome to Storytime. I am glad we're here together. So the book that we're reading today is this one, Spooky, Sleuth and Solve. And this one is written by Victor ESCANDELL, and adaptations of the characters were made by Anna Gaio, and it is Decode mind-twisting mysteries inspired by classic creepy characters. And of course, reading it with permission of the publishers, Chronicle Books of San Francisco. I am excited to share this one, and we're going to be reading, as I mentioned, there are many stories in here. Let me just show you that. Lots of stories that are in here, and we're going to read, of course, this one right here, Ghosts. Yeah, that's the one that we're going to read. But there are many other stories, so if you do get a hold of this book, please do check out all the other stories. And we'll try, of course, to bring them to Storytime as much as possible. But we'll be getting ready. Are you ready for Ghosts? All right, please join me on the other side of this message, and we'll be back to enjoy our story. Yay!
Hi, everyone. I'm Amanda with Amanda Weltman Photography. I'm a photographer and printmaker based in the Pacific Northwest, and I believe that your face deserves wall space. Enjoy today's story time with my favorite storyteller, Mr. LaMotta.
All right, welcome back. Here we go. Spooky, Sleuth and Solve. All right. Let me go to Ghosts. Ooh, there we go. All right. Ghosts. Some say that nowhere in the world is without a castle or a house haunted by ghosts. For those who believe, ghosts are said to be the spirits of people who died and now manifest themselves in spectral form. Often, people believe that a house is haunted when strange noises are heard at night. Floorboards creak even when no one is there. And when objects begin to move or disappear altogether. There are even mocking spirits called poltergeists who aren't dangerous but seem to take pleasure in doing spooky things. I feel like if I were a ghost, I would be a poltergeist. The spirit in the attic. That's our story. Here we go. A covered carriage entered the lavish gardens that surrounded the Marquis of Rocamora, Don Matthias' palace. It was one of those summer mornings when the sky stretched out in perfect endless expanse of blue. From the carriage emerged the Marquis' daughter and his grandson, Matty. The majestic building had been built on the outskirts of town many decades earlier. But the city had expanded rapidly over the years, and now the palace sat very close to the noisy city center. At the time, traffic regulations did not exist. With both carriages and cars, which were a recent invention, on the roads, The streets were chaotic and accidents frequent. Don Matthias knew firsthand how terrible accidents could be. When he was a little older than his grandson, he had lost his best friend, the cook's son, who lived with his mother in the attic. The boy had been struck and killed by a car after running into the street in pursuit of a ball that had soared over the fence. Oh. Matty was 11 years old, and this was his last chance to visit his grandfather before heading off to boarding school. As he eagerly bounded up the stairs to the palace entrance, he noticed a light in the attic, turning on and off, as if someone were playing with the switch. Ooh. Inside, Grandpa Matthias showed Matty to the room that would be his bedroom, the very bedroom that had been his at Matty's age. "These were mine, and now they are yours," he said with a cheerful wink, gesturing to a table where a small army of toy soldiers stood at attention. They were dressed in the regalia of the army unit in which Don Matthias had served. Matty was excited about the soldiers and equally thrilled by the bowl of marshmallows that had been set out for him. After dinner, Matty returned to his room, intending to recreate one of the battles from the war that his grandpa had told him about. But when he opened the door, he abruptly stopped. Some of the soldiers had broken formation and were now scattered across the table. Ooh, what had happened? Who had done that? That night, Matty slept deeply, lured to sleep by the heat, until a steady pounding on the floor above caused him to wake with a start. It sounded like someone was up there bouncing a ball. Boom, boom, boom. Matty. Boom, boom, boom. Matty. Suddenly, the noise stopped, and a call came, clear as day. "Matty, Matty," almost as if someone were leaning right over his pillow. As he reached for the light switch, Matty accidentally knocked the light bulb to the floor. Oh no. But Matty didn't need the light to know that there was someone there with him. He felt cold and shivery. There was a steady click, click, click. The streetlight outside the window illuminated a slew of fallen soldiers. But when Matty finally turned on the light, there was no one there. The next morning, Matty asked his grandpa whether there were any other children living in the house. "Only you," Grandpa Matthias responded, confused. Matty then asked, "Who slept in the attic?" "Nobody sleeps up there anymore," said his grandpa, eyeing Matty strangely. And Matty says, "I heard noises last night." Grandpa insists, "It's probably just the pipes or a feisty rat." What do you think? Every night, the pounding announced a presence to Matty. One night, his mother and grandpa were out at the theater. Matty was left alone in the care of a maid. He lay down to sleep with his grandpa's flashlight at his side, and suddenly he heard boom, boom, boom. The pounding was so fast and intense that Matty had to drop the flashlight in order to cover his throbbing ears. Boom, boom, boom. Matty tried to get up, but a strange force prevented him from moving. Maddie's breathing sped up and fear took hold. Desperately hoping this was only a dream, he managed to pinch himself. As soon as he did, he found that the force was lifted. A flash. In a flash, he leaped up from the bed and ran from his room. Upon arriving from the theater, Maddie's mother and grandpa found him asleep next to the maid. At breakfast the next morning, Grandpa Matthias was surprised at how fiercely Maddie fought back when his mother told him to overcome his nightmares. "It wasn't a nightmare, Mom," Maddie argued. "I was awake, and you know it wasn't me who knocked over those soldiers." That night, his mother went upstairs and read him a bedtime story, soothing Maddie into a deep and peaceful sleep. It was midnight when the door opened. From the threshold of the room, a shadow stood contemplating the images that the zoetrope cast on the wall. The cylinder would only spin when Maddie was asleep. Grandpa said, "Wouldn't you prefer to play with me? It was I who kicked the ball so hard that day, not him." Don Matthias spoke to the room with every ounce of courage he had, with every courage he had won on battlefield. After waiting and waiting with no response, Maddie's grandpa finally fell asleep in an armchair beside the boy's bed. Of course, he failed to see the small black shadow on the table and the 3 soldiers that clattered quietly to the floor. Well, there was something that happened. There's a question for you at the bottom. Which of these phenomenon was not caused by the ghost? The pounding, the falling of the soldiers, the code or the voice? Which was it? All right. Well, that was Ghosts. I hope you enjoyed it. It is indeed a creepy one, but we have a mystery for us to solve. What were the noises caused by the ghosts and what wasn't? So let's find out from this one. Here we have a little exercise for you. So I have this to start. Let me just pull up this for you. All right, here we go. So we will be using this. This is our cryptography. We're going to be using that one to decode. So you can see there that the letters at the bottom are our alphabet, irregular, and then on the outside, you're going to be using that. That is the language of the malevolent beings, and that's what we're using. So you have this. If you can see at the bottom there, it says GSV, HLOWRVIH. So those are the letters I would like you to write down, and those are the ones that we're going to be decoding today. Okay, so we figure out which of these things, which of these phenomena was not caused by the ghost. Was it the pounding, the falling soldiers, the code, or the voice? So write down what's at the bottom here, and then we're going to use the cryptograph later on to decode. So just give it a few minutes so people can write that down. So write that down, what you see at the bottom, beginning with GSV. And then if you look at GSV, when we go back here, you can see there that our G at the top is there. It corresponds with the T. And then our S is there, corresponds with an H. Our V corresponds with an E. So for the first part of this encryption, we're going to know that the first GSV is THE. And so THE is the. So that is what we would be coming up with. So it would be that. So let's figure out the rest. So I'll give it a few minutes so people can write. I hope you enjoyed the story. I hope you're not too creeped out. And I hope that you enjoy solving this one. But also remember too that we're back again tomorrow with another exciting, creepy story. So do join me for that one as well. But for now, write that down. I'll give it a few minutes for those of you that are here. And then when we are ready, we're going to go on and reveal the answer. If you can, please, please, please do type down those. All right. So these are the words down there. Please just give me a little thumbs up or something so I can know that you are done. Oh, thank you, Miss Ingrid, for joining in. Good morning to you. It's a great story. What was that noise? Well, there were noises that were made by the ghost, but there was one thing that was not done by the ghost. So what was it? And this is what we're trying to figure out down here where you have that. Let us write that down, and then we're going to be decoding that. So there we go. If you have those down, GSV, HLOWRVIH, DVIV, PMLXPVW, LEVI, all the way down. If you have that, and I have an example there that the GSV at the beginning equals there. So what was it? And then let me put back the cryptography there. And you'd be using that to solve it. I'll give it another few minutes so we can solve that. All right, so what do we think? Who solved that? What was it?
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon.
All right, there we are. Use it to decode the language of the malevolent beings. And we know we have that written down to help us solve one thing that was not done by the ghost. What was it? All right, here we go. Are you ready for the revelation? So we have this and we have that to help us. What do you think? What was it? I hope you had your pen and paper ready. I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then we're going to reveal what it is.
Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting.
All right. Are we ready for the revelation of the answer? And thank you again for joining in, Pamela, Courtney, and of course Braylon and Chad. Oh, thank you for joining us. Baby Bia, early riser, how are you doing today? Miss Ingrid out in Patagonia, thank you so much for joining in. Who has solved this mystery? Who is our sleuth out there? All right, one more time. I'll just put back this so you can see those in case you didn't manage to copy down this important bit at the bottom. And the question is, which of these phenomena was not caused by the ghost? The pounding, the falling soldiers, the cold, or the voice? Which was it? All right, time to reveal. Time to reveal. Here we go. Are you ready? All right. So of all those things, one that was not caused by the ghost was... Ta-da! And if you look here at the bottom, the answers to the ghost is which of these phenomena was not caused by the ghost? The pounding, the falling soldiers, the cold, or the voice? And you can see that this here translates into the sentence at the bottom, and it says the soldiers were knocked over by the mouse as it stole the marshmallows. So there is one mystery solved for us. At least we know the ghost did not do that one thing. Thank you so much for joining me on Storytime today. I hope you enjoyed this amazing, creepy story book, Spooky, Sleuth and Solve. And it is a collection of wonderful, wonderful stories in here. Familiar characters like Frankenstein and so on, all adapted to new, creepier stories. So do find this one at your local library. Do find it where you get books, read it and enjoy it. It is one definitely to read under the covers. Thank you for joining in Storytime. Absolutely love it. Thank you for being here. Please join me tomorrow, and I will be joined by Annika Muros-Reese, author of this amazing, amazing book, Hide and Don't Seek. This one coming to you tomorrow. Catch us then. Annika will be doing the reading herself, and we will be reading story 1 from this amazing collection. Please do find it and enjoy it as well. Join me tomorrow. Absolutely love it. There are many things that have happened this week, many great books. I'm excited, and of course excited for Annika's visit as well. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. One more time, what's going on? No, completely missed the mouse coming for the marshmallows right there. Thank you so much, Amanda and Baby Bia, for catching that one. Thank you. I hope. I wish I could have done it a different way. Set these ahead of time so you could look at them. But I hope that you enjoyed sleuthing and trying to solve that one. Thank you. A great way to get our minds going. Great way to wake up, right, Amanda? Thank you so much for joining in. Braylon and Chad, absolutely appreciate you. Pamela, Courtney, thank you so much for being here on Storytime. To everybody that is joining us after the stories live, if you're joining us for the recordings, I hope that you have a wonderful time. I hope you enjoy sleuthing as well with us today, and I hope that you enjoy the creepy story that we had today. But please don't forget, join us again tomorrow for Hide and Don't Seek. A great one indeed also coming to you tomorrow. And this one is written by Annika Muros-Reese. Yes, the full title of the book is Hide and Don't Seek and Other Scary Stories. I've been reading it, I've read it, I've finished. It is a fun book indeed. It is definitely, some of them will get your hair standing. Some of these ones are definitely spine tingling. So do join in for that one. Get a few scares, enjoy it. And of course, if you're in Halloween, enjoy Halloween weekend that is coming up. Thank you for being here. Absolutely appreciate the time that we get to spend together. And of course, we'll be bringing back some of these stories in these books and sharing some more. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And of course, I hope that everybody today can have a clear and sunny day like it is out in Natchitoches, Louisiana. Thank you so much for joining in Storytime. Absolutely appreciate you. Have a wonderful day. And please remember, if you have any recommendations that you'd like to send me, please do so. And I will do my very best to bring them here to Storytime. So maybe we can read your favorite story. And of course, keep introducing each other to new stories, because there might be a story that somebody out in Seattle knows that somebody in Natchitoches doesn't, and the other way around. And all across Borden in Vermont, Henry in Massachusetts, everybody that joins in Storytime, Soraya brings in different stories and we get to enjoy them together. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you again tomorrow for another exciting and creepy story. So do join me for this one. Of course, I won't be alone tomorrow. I will be with Annika Muros-Reese for this one, Hide and Don't Seek. Yes, and other scary stories. But we're reading just the one from this one tomorrow. Much love from me. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Yes, have a wonderful and blessed day. Let it be sunny. Let it shine. Oh, even if outside it may be cloudy, but I hope that your heart is shining. I hope that your heart is sunny and happy. Thank you so much for being here. See you again tomorrow. Much love. Hugs to each and every one of you. Bye-bye.
Story time. Story time with Mr. Lamada. He will be starting soon. matter, where all your dreams come true. Oh, he brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely, won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be hearing. Brings to life your favorite stories with a great big smile. You won't live lonely,
Boom.
won't you start all the reading? We just can't wait to be